Hi everybody, it's Stephen here. First of all, the housework. I'm smoking using my Cobbett Shire. Well, this isn't the Shire; it's a different one, but it's one of my they're one of my favourite pipes of the Shires, um, along with most cobs really. And in it, I've got Penzance, which I'm enjoying just puffing away gently on. Today I'm answering this is a VR for Aristocob, who is a bit late on his 100 sub goal, since he's got over a couple of thousand followers, but better late than never, I always say. And the terrible thing is that he's left it up to us what we do as by way of response, which has really thrown me. I've been sitting here for nearly an hour thinking about what I was going to say and wondering, what I could say. Should I read a story? Should I read a poem? Should I tell a story? Should I tell a joke? Should I have a rant about something? The field's wide open, and here I am, brain the size of a planet, and can't even think what to say. However, we'll have a go. My stepfather was a strong man. Carolyn's just laughed because that's a sort of the least of it. At 19, well, when he left school, he started to break Shire horses. And as he grew up, as a farmer's boy, he grew stronger and stronger until he really was 6'3" of pure muscle. He could lift just about anything, really. But anyway, he was known for his strength. He was known for his motorbike, a big Norton motorbike, one of the old motorbikes. At the time my dad had one, they were the best racing bikes around, I think. It's before the Japanese bikes came in and before some of the other bikes came in, but certainly in this country, Nortons couldn't be beaten. And my dad had a Norton. But I want to tell you really about his strength more than anything else. He was known as a quiet man, and you know how dangerous they are. He seemed to be able to stand quite a lot of pain. There was a time when he had to have his teeth out, and it was suggested that the dentist took all his teeth out and put new ones in. And my father turned up at the dentist, and they put him to sleep because they were going to do it whilst he was unconscious. But his teeth were set in like concrete, so the dentist needed to get some help, and he got his dental assistants to hold Dad's head back, one of the girls. He put a girl on each knee of Dad, and two men held his arms out behind him. And the dentist sort of came in between them and put his foot on the chair and just hauled on the teeth. He'd got about 3 out when Dad woke up, and he cleared everybody. He just sort of arms and dentists and dental assistants flying. So the dentist said, "Look, Tom, I'm having real trouble getting your teeth out. I'm going to put you back to sleep and we'll try again." And my dad said, "Don't bloody bother putting me to sleep, just get on with it." And he sat there while the dentist removed all his teeth and didn't murmur once. And then the dentist put the false set of teeth straight back in, and that was it. he once got run over. Lily, sorry about that. Lily's guarding the street. He once got run over by a tractor and trailer, full trailer, and it went over his legs and up the side of his body and over one arm, but missed his neck. And he continued working for the rest of the day, really. Drove home in the evening and was feeling a bit sore. In fact, his legs were swelled to double their size. So my mother said, well, we'll go up to the hospital, to the A&E department. So Dad drove them up. He wouldn't have Mum drive. Got there, went in to see the doctor, and the doctor was horrified, and sort of said, how did you get up here? And Dad said, the wife drove me up. And he said, well, when did you do it? And he said, just before I came off work. And the doctor sort of looked at him and said, God, man, we'll have him x-rayed. And it turned out that he hadn't broken his legs, but that he'd just about torn every muscle and every ligaments, thank you, dear, every ligament apart. So they put him in sort of like a cast, very heavy dressings and that. And the doctor said, you're off for at least 6 weeks, lad. It's going to take quite a bit of repairing, is this. So Dad said, oh, right, okay. And he was sort of given a sick note and sent home. And of course, he drove home. He wouldn't let Mum drive. Nor would he take any notice of the doctor. And was back at work in the morning. And he worked it out. He worked through the pain until his muscles and everything had repaired. But the story I want to tell you about is a guy who was called Snipe Nose, where Dad worked. He was a young man. Dad was about middle-aged by now. And proud of his strength, as Dad was proud of his. And Snipe Nose wanted to be a wrestler. But they wouldn't allow him to be a wrestler because he hadn't worked out yet that, some were good guys, some were bad guys, and it was really theatre rather than wrestling. So whenever he got in the ring, he forgot that and sort of did his best to win. And in the end, they said, no, you can't be a wrestler. But anyway, on this particular day, they were having bets about who was strongest. And the way they decided to decide who was strongest is they'd start off carrying one sack up the stairs off the wagon, and then 2, and then 3, and so on until one of them gave up. And they were getting on quite well, 300 weight sacks across the shoulders on top of each other, and then 4, and then 5, and at the 6th, the manager happened to look out of the window and went white and saw compensation claims coming up left, right and centre and stopped the contest. So we don't know really how many those two men could lift between them, well, individually on their backs. Dad reckoned he could have kept going, and Snipe Nose reckoned he could have kept going. But we'll never know. He really was a big man. There's a story of Jacob. This car got sort of stuck in a dike, in the edge of the road, a drainage place. It had gone off the road and slipped in. And my dad turned up and the car was full of people. And the driver said, do you want us all to get out? And Dad said, no, you stay in there, it's raining out here. And he lifted the car up and pulled it out of the ditch, back onto the road by himself. So the guy sort of said, do you want anything, and Dad said, no, go on your way, type thing, and went home for a cup of tea. He really was a big man. I've seen him lift a man up who was about to show violence and just hold him by one hand. And when he had his heart attack, he was suffering. He'd been told that he'd got motor neuron disease, and he told the specialist that he would commit suicide. And it'd been snowing, and he went down every house in the street and cleared the pathways and that until his heart began to trouble him. He came in, and my mother tried to ring the doctor, and he hurled her off the floor as he was having a heart attack to stop her ringing the doctor, and eventually collapsed to his knees and then fell onto the floor. And my mum rang the doctor, and she was there within minutes, and the ambulance was sent for. And Dad was still alive, but he wouldn't fight it. And the doctor sort of said, he's as strong as an ox, but he won't do anything for it. He really left an impression, especially on me. I was laughing at something on television one day, and he thought I was laughing at him. And he hit me once when I was laid on the sofa looking at the television, and broke all my ribs on one side. Just one mighty blow. And when I got to the doctor said, I want to report him. And I said, no. I was too scared of him. These days, I think the doctor would have ignored me and put me into care or something. Anyway, that's what I'm sort of finishing with. But I will finish a story about a strong man. There was a strong man at the local fair, and his act was lifting heavy weights as usual, bending bars, and all the usual things that travelling fair men did. But his final trick was he would take an orange and he would squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it until there was no drop left. And he said, £100 to anybody who can get one drop of orange juice out of this orange now that I've finished squeezing it. And of course all the local lads, the strong lads, came along and couldn't do it. Nobody seemed to be able to do it. And then this little old lady who was sat in the middle of the sort of front row stood up and walked over to the strong man and said, do you mind if I have a go, love? And he looked at her and said, you what? And she, do you mind if I have a go, love? So he said, no, if you think you can do it. And she picked the orange up and she squeezed and she squeezed and she squeezed, and one drop came out, then another, and then another. And she finally put the orange down. And he said to her, by gum, missus, you must be strong. Where did you learn to do that? And she said, I'm not really very strong, but I am the Methodist Church treasurer.